Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/surviving infidelity, where OP's cheating ex-wife got exactly what she deserves. Let's begin. I married her for 8 years, 2 kids, 7 and 3-year-olds. She cheated on me. Posted by Reddit user Proof Membership 71.
I'd like to be as short as possible trying to define what happened. After some months of suspicion and asking her questions like, "Are you talking to another man?" and she denying everything, one time I told her to give me her phone since I'm an IT guy I could find anything. Putting a lot of pressure on her, she started telling partial truths, things she knew I would find out. Everything I know is because I either found out myself, or she knew I would end up finding it. She started talking to the neighborhood guard casually. Slowly they started talking more and more. Then shared phones and had long conversations every day. They kissed at least 5 times and had around 5 dates outside the neighborhood in public places. According to the info I have, there was no sex. That's the most probable thing. But I cannot guarantee it. Anyways, she would chat with him in bed next to me, or she would paint her nails till late in the kitchen while I was already in bed. She told him she would never regret their thing, and she loved him. Something very strange, we are in a very different social strata. He is a security guard and I'm an engineer. He doesn't even know proper grammar or finished his school. He has a girlfriend. They would see each other in the same neighborhood where we live probably every other day. I discovered everything. Her psychologist said she dissociated, leaving behind the most basic and elemental values, such as honesty, trust, family. For us, even if we are in a very good economic position, money is not important per se, just a medium. We always believe that. Once I asked her directly, "Are you chatting with another man?" She denied. I went to the sofa in the living room and cried for a bit.
And now he's crying? Are you serious?
I was suspecting. She came back to me after 10 minutes, gave me a hug, and told me it was my imagination. In the chats, I could read her telling her lover, "My knees are shaking. Husband asked me this. I'm stressed." And then, "Don't worry." I gave him a hug and it was all over. We are fine. I feel like shit after reading these ugly things. She had many occasions to finish this, many warnings, and she did not do it. It is like she was looking for someone to share feelings, and sometimes kiss, like a very immature 14-year-old girl. She says she loves me, we can get our marriage back, blah blah blah. I talked directly with the psychiatrist, asking if this dissociative thing is a pathology on her or what's the meaning. She said that it is not pathological on her, everything was done consciously and she dissociated only to keep both relationships in parallel, but it was no excuse. It was her deciding to go on day by day. I want to forgive her. Sometimes I love her, sometimes I hate her. I'm very confused. I think she never acted like this. People around believe she is not a compulsive liar. Anyways, I feel she needs at least to be scared of me leaving and check her reaction. She keeps saying she loves me and asking for forgiveness and mentioning she was ill. Honestly, she does not produce rejection on me and I could even have normal sex with her, even after talking about the affair and the details. At the moment I took a trip, I came alone to friends' houses to meditate. I think I miss her. Not sure if I'm afraid of being alone, or because I want to give the marriage a second chance, or because there's some love left. Some days I hate her, sometimes I imagine changes as couple to be a better one. This is driving me crazy. The timeline is August 2023 she started the affair. April 2024 I found out. May 2024 I took the plane to Europe. Mixed feelings. I really want to give her and the marriage a chance. I wonder if I should take it more slowly, like a separation, wait for her responses, etc. We own more than one house, so we could take turns to live with the kids for a while. Is it a good idea to come back home after the trip, sleep with her, have sex, and keep talking about all this?
Everything you say to me is pissing me off.
Will she feel it's an easy one? Does she really understand the pit where she put me in? Questions, but no answers. We are doing couples therapy, individual therapy, and both also going to a psychiatrist. We have friends to rely on. We have a good network of trustees to talk about this. Still don't know what to do.
Seriously? You don't know what to do? Are you stupid? OP, it surprises me that you actually believe that they didn't have sex. I'm surprised that you believe that she is in love with you. when it's so obvious that she is in love with her affair partner? Did you go on this long trip just to give her a chance to cheat on you even more? I mean, what is your goal here? You know what? I don't even want to know. You're a spineless cuck, so you deserve all of this. Good luck with raising your so-called biological children. And now for today's second story. My psycho ex gets my egoless revenge with a side of heavy-duty karma. Posted by Reddit user HeyMomo7.
The following story occurred over the course of 13 to 8 years ago, and I apologize preemptively for the length because it is a bit involved. I was in a relationship for 9 years with a girl I met in college. We broke up on the cusp of my 29th birthday. While breakups and divorce are never trauma-free, this one was as close to that as I believe is humanly possible to get. There were no fights and minimal drama, and I moved to a new city to get a fresh start and be nearer my dad, my stepmom, and half-sisters, as I'm close to them, and it was nice to have family during this. Get an apartment, start over, everything's good. Then I met her. Things with her seemed good at first. She was the polar opposite of my ex. She's quiet yet nice, had her life relatively together. My first wife was very unfocused and horrible with money, physically a complete contrast. Wild in the bedroom, I thought I had hit the jackpot. Anyhow, I fall for her hard. We have a whirlwind romance, move in shortly, and we have this glamorous life where we make good money. She was a corporate accountant. I had a decent small business. We're pulling in 150,000+ combined, renting a luxury apartment. One car paid and the other brand new, no kids. Things are great, except that we drink too much together and some other underlying issues I'm blind to at the time. We get soused one night and drive to Vegas and get married on the Strip after 6 months of dating and 9 of knowing each other. The ink is barely dry on my divorce papers from version 1.0, but no matter, I'm in love. My family likes her overall, her family loves me, we adopt cats. We talked about trying to have a kid. We upgrade our life and take on more debt, just as the housing bubble bursts and the economy tanks. She loses a couple jobs due to her inability to show up on Mondays, and I start losing clients as the ones I have start cutting their advertising budget. Things start to get pinched, and she first starts complaining, then gets petulant because now we can't spend the way we used to. The quarterly mini vacations dry up, plus we're cooking at home instead of going out to eat 4 times a week. We basically stop having sex a little more than a year into the relationship. Didn't realize it then because I was dumb and love blind, but she cheated on me during this period. Realizing what we're up against with our normal bills plus our credit cards, I go out and get a job bartending in a posh resort, the only other real skill I have at the time that's marketable. I got 2 other part-time gigs to help make ends meet. She still complains and throws me an ultimatum before I even start getting paychecks, laying the blame at my feet. I say fine, screw this then. Had we stuck it out even a few more months, things would have started to turn a financial corner. Instead, she goes full two-faced, mean-spirited bitch on me. The night we first fight, she attempts suicide by scratching her wrist with a Leatherman, then calls 911, gets admitted to the hospital, and has the security guard toss me when I show up to see if she's okay because she doesn't want to talk to me. I use the quotes because there was a small collection of firearms nearby I bought for her target shooting hobby, which were untouched, so it was obviously just a ploy for attention. We basically fight for the next week. I give her everything she wants, which includes leaving the house, signing over my new truck to her, and only taking stuff I brought into the relationship, basically enough to fill a small storage space. She's financially pinched, so I sell my office furniture for cash and don't even touch the bank account. Just take my biz money and one credit card I got separate from her. I go to the Bay Area for a few months, financially struggling, don't get the job I was sure was on lock. During this time, I have this revelation one evening. I drink too much and that it's caused a load of problems in my life, so I quit, and I haven't touched a drop since. Broke and realizing nothing I try is working, I come back to town, live with my dad for a month, find a roommate, then a shit retail job. My business has dropped from 7 to 8 grand per month at its height to now around 500 per month. I bike everywhere because I can't afford a car, and my credit is toast partially due to her love of spending on plastic, so I'm facing bankruptcy. I'm 31 and this is really humbling, but whatever, I'm alive, have dealt with hardship before, this won't last forever. She has kept her house, declared personal BK on her debts, keeps her car, and has been dating a series of men starting a couple weeks after we split. While I never asked the details, apparently she's also reached out to a few of my friends and badmouthed me a bit. This would be mildly annoying, But add in 2 factors. She's dragging her feet on the divorce due to not having money to file. Keeps up contact on the pretense of us needing to talk, but plays emotionally manipulative head games during the whole sequence. I've realized I still love you, that's why you can make me cry so easily, and other bullshit Hallmark movie lines like this. Also, we live in a suburb that's smaller and tightly knit, so multiple places I go to, like my church, the bookstore I frequent, and the coffee shop right by my place. She talks endless shit to people. Says I was a cheater, said I physically and emotionally abusive. I'm stalking her. I supposedly stole tens of thousands of dollars from her. The whole 9. Some people actually believe her. I even get threatened by a wannabe biker one night that's literally twice my age with violence. Itself a funny story, but not the point. Finally, after some more bullshit back and forth, she leaves town. More falsehoods around this, including her borrowing a bit of money she didn't end up paying back, and sticking me with a massive overage on our cell bill right before we split the account. My dumb trusting heart hurts, but I'm mostly relieved to see the last of her, realizing she's only nice to me when she wants something. She goes to New York to shack up with another guy, gets pregnant 15 minutes later, finally sends me divorce paperwork. I sign it and send it back quickly, all notarized docs, everything organized and flagged. She attempts to be friends and I want no part of this bullshit. I'm businesslike, she gets upset. She screws up filing, blames me. I say whatever, straighten out the court issues. 1 week after the divorce is finalized, the kid is born. No word from her after that for 2 years, thank God. I get a new career, start advancing in it, and start dating a new woman that I'm still with 10 years later. Weirdly enough, they knew each other and she didn't like her, partially because one of my ex's infidelity partners was her ex-husband, during a time they were exploring patching things up for the kid's sake. Though there were multiple reasons for her distrust, apparently she always gave my wife an icky intuitive feeling. So flash forward 2 years. I got a call from my current squeeze. She's just talked to a friend who was also a very brief roomie of her after our split. She's breaking up with the baby daddy. There's a custody fight. He's saying he doesn't know if it's his. Will I help her? Well, it's the right thing to do, so even though I don't trust or particularly like her, I say yes. I got the call, and a sob story. Most of it doesn't add up. He took the kid but thinks it's actually mine. To prove paternity, I'd need to come to New York and take a paternity test at one of their facilities. Also, he hit her, put a GPS tracker on her car. Brother is a Russian mobster who threatened her, all very far-fetched. Needless to say, even without this fanciful tale, I generally assume if this woman is talking, it's a lie, so I'm suspicious. Her lawyer calls me and seems like a clueless SH muck. I get a letter from him, very unprofessional and not even on a letterhead. Other legal doc I've seen has from the law offices of blah blah on it, but this is literally just off a laser printer and says verbatim, I, OP, am the ex-husband of cheating bitch, and was married to her from June 2007 to August 2009. I have no legal interest in the child. Super shady. Not wanting to end up in a situation where I've allowed myself to be legally fucked over, I make my own lawyer consultation appointment. Before I can even go, the baby daddy finds me on Facebook and sends me a message. Between calls with him, his lawyer, and the impartial lawyer New York State appoints for the child's welfare, I get a very different story. He knows it's his. He had a paternity test done on the sly at birth because she had been promiscuous before they got together, and she was pregnant so quickly that he was concerned. They broke up because she was drinking too much. He busted her with a bottle of vodka as she was driving with the kid in the car. She stood up in court, claimed I was actually the father, and she had no idea where to find me. He found me in 10 seconds online. I'm a tech guy with massive social media presence, a tech blog, multiple writing credits on publications, my frigging name as a domain, plus I've had the same cell phone number for 14 years. Also, the other bullshit was just that. He's an IT guy for a university and his brother works for a carpet cleaning chain, plus just like in our relationship, he never hit or stalked her, etc. So she, not knowing what I know, starts sending me text messages. I say, filled out and on its way back to your lawyer, and toss it in the trash. I'm so tempted to send her some poetic message about how the truth is coming back to haunt her, but I resist because I'm not doing this for her, but rather for the sake of their son and his father, so let's keep my ego out of it. I provide legal statements to all in the court. Tell them I know it's not possibly mine because I hadn't been with her since April 15th of 2008. Kid's birthday is in September of 2009. I remember the date because due to taxes, I got fucked twice that day. Explain when she was in New York, which is the likely dates of conception. Prove I was thousands of miles away on the West Coast. Tell them to look through her social media where she meticulously tagged herself and took tons of pictures of even their mundane locations. Provide a blood sample to a local lab. Tell them salacious details about her drinking and occasional drug use, including her abused prescriptions and a previous hospitalization where she was held for psych eval due to taking way too many pills. Court comes, and she gets blindsided. A stack of depositions and a collection of statements from me were what sealed the deal apparently, and the incredibly stupid game she was running is fully exposed. Gets no custody, no support, supervised visitation once a week. I ran into her ex-roomie upset, but instead of giving her attitude, I just calmly told her the scam, cheating ex was running, then let her pull out of me the truth about our split. She's flabbergasted, but also a horrible gossip, so it gets around town like wildfire. People I barely know, including the aforementioned biker, all come up to me and apologize for misjudging me. I'm years past the stage of having any morbid curiosity to check her social media, but every few months, she pops up as a suggested friend, and I notice bemusedly the number of mutual friends plummets from triple digits to eventually 3. Baby's father sends me a massive Amex gift card for Christmas, as much as I make in a week at the time. I called and tell him I don't know if I can accept it. I don't want him or anyone to think I did this for a reward. He virtually begs, saying, "You helped save my family. This is nothing in comparison. Thank you." We break down crying on the phone and eventually form an odd, distant friendship based on mutual respect for each other. I even had dinner with him a couple times when I had to go to New York for biz over the years.
Gay.
And I always buy because the poor guy has done enough and gone through enough having to co-parent with this train wreck. To this day, she's apparently struggling to stay sober with alcohol and other substances, and has minimal involvement in her child's life due to her inability to show up when expected. Baby daddy tells me she's been in legal trouble, financial issues up the ass, and a string of boyfriends that never last more than a few months. I'm doing well, got married again 3 years ago, raised stepchildren, reasonably financially successful, and I rather like my life. Granted, a large part of this story is just karma in action, but I feel like I did the right thing, wasn't petty, and what I did do hit her where it hurts. TLDR, ex-wife fucks my life, destroys me financially, tries to trash my reputation, then tries to use me as a scheme in her custody battle years later. I talk to the court directly, work with the baby daddy's lawyers, and get her exposed for the psychotic, lying wench she is. She loses custody, struggles, and the good people live mostly happily ever after.
OP, you did well to survive her. Plus, you got a friend out of this whole shit show. She destroyed herself and tried to include you, which did not really work out well for her. Kudos for keeping it actually professional and reaping the results of your patience. Onwards and upwards, man. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.